Welcome to the Viking Age podcast, the official podcast of the vikingage.com. My name is Chris Schad. I write for the Viking Age as well as Bring Me the News, Zone Coverage, and the Brookings Register. My co-host for the day is Adam Patrick. He is the managing editor of the Viking Age, and we do this every Monday and Thursday right here on the Viking Age YouTube channel on Apple and Spotify every Tuesday and Friday. However you consume us, though, rate, comment, like, and subscribe so you never miss a new episode. First off, I want to apologize for not having an episode on Monday. We both have lives. So Adam got carried away by his writing duties and making graphics that Des Bryant could rip off and break the internet. Des caught it, by the way. I just want to throw that out there.
I put that in there.
Yes. And I was in the great city of Seattle, checking out the Minnesota Twins taking on the Seattle Mariners. I use great in relative terms because I saw a guy lighting the spoon on my way back from the Mariners game on Monday. And I'm pretty sure a guy OD'd by my hotel on Tuesday because there's, a guy in the fetal position, like 4 ambulances around him. So I don't know. I guess that's why they call it Freatle, right? But it was a great trip overall. T-Mobile Park, one of my favorite parks that I've always wanted to see. I love the 90s Mariners, so getting to see the statue of Ken Griffey Jr. in person was awesome. And the fans are really cool out there too. I think if I went to a Seahawks game, it'd be a little bit different, but definitely like the stadiums that they have there. Got to see all the cool sights and sounds, and yeah, it was a good time.
That's cool. Yeah, I've always liked that stadium when it was Safeco Field before.
Yep.
Now it's T-Mobile
Oh,
Park.
that's what I refer to it the whole trip too.
Yeah. But I just remember that opening because before that the Mariners played in the Kingdom, so them having an outdoor stadium was kind of like a novelty back in the day, and just makes me think of, like, I don't know, Ichiro. Not so much. I don't know. I don't think Griffey really played too much in that stadium. I think he played more in the Kingdom.
Yeah, I feel like he was traded
to the Reds.
Yeah, I can't remember when he was traded to the Reds, but
yep.
I feel like Griffey, maybe he played. I mean, towards the end of his career, he played there. Yeah. Like he got a couple of years in at the end, and then like midway through the season, he's like, "Yeah, I'm done. I'm retiring."
That stadium makes me think of more Ichiro than Griffey or A-Rod or whatever.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, Randy Johnson was traded before that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the 90s Mariners were freaking awesome.
Yeah.
I dropped a Jay Buhner and everybody's like, "Oh yeah, Jay Buhner." Yeah. Like, oh, that guy was awesome.
He was. He looked like Stone Cold.
He a little bit. He could probably slam some beers behind the stage. He was a big dude, but obviously that's enough of your Mariners podcast. Let's talk about the Vikings, because this week is the week we're finally out of the doldrums, because training camp starts on Sunday. I believe rookies report on Sunday. Veterans, are they a couple days after? Or
so I think it's rookies and quarterbacks.
Yeah, so rookies and quarterbacks report on Sunday. Then everybody else will show up. Next weekend is back together weekend. I should say it in NFL Network term. Back together weekend. Yeah. We're here watching practice right now. They're in shorts and shell. Scott Hansen's just sitting there. We're going to go to Miami right now. We're watching Blaze Andrews. He's done slam 2 energy drinks and go on the field. Now we're going to go over to San Francisco, where Trey Lance is begging Kyle Shanahan just to acknowledge him. Then we're going to go up to Green Bay, where Jordan Love looks completely lost. And it's just a whole bunch of people standing, basically. But
lots of whistles.
Yes. First padded practice for the Vikings, July 31st. Let's start here. Are you excited for training camp?
Yeah, I think I'm just excited for it because training camp coming back means preseason's closer, which means the regular season's closer. So we are, before we know it, the regular season's going to be here. So training camp's always it's just fun to come back. It's kind of when it first comes back, it kind of has those feelings too of like the first preseason game where everyone's excited for the first 5 minutes, and then the rest of the game you're like, okay, this is preseason. I don't want to watch the rest of this. But actually, training camp I feel like it's turning out to be more exciting than preseason sometimes, especially with the joint practices. I know the Vikings have two sets of joint practices this year, one with the Titans and one with the Cardinals. Um, and with the new rule where the Vikings and every other team has to keep their 90-man roster all the way until the final preseason game, I would expect the Vikings to use those joint practices basically as their preseason reps for the starters. I wouldn't expect to see any starters in the preseason at all, especially with that 90-man roster being a thing now. So that those practices are where guys like Kirk Cousins, Justin Jefferson are gonna get the bulk of their work done. So yeah, it's gonna be fun, and yeah, it's training camp. It'll be interesting to see, first training camp without Adam Thielen being there, first one without Eric Kendricks being there. So it'll be a different vibe, and I'm curious to see if Kevin O'Connell does anything different than what he did last year. Because last year was his first year. Did he learn anything? Does he want to try anything new this year? Just a bunch of things to watch out for. And will Danielle Hunter be there?
Yeah, that's a great question as well. What's with all these contracts? Because everybody just kind of thought Justin Jefferson's contract would get done, and we're still waiting.
It will. It will.
TJ, and I think Jefferson will reach a contract extension at the very latest, maybe before week 1. Like,
I want to say, yeah, I'll agree with that. I was gonna say before August, but I'll give him a little more time.
I mean, if you're worried about the Vikings brain trust, I guess I would say they're not completely stupid. Like they're
No.
gonna get it done at some point. It's just it's a lot of money, and nobody else on the wide receiver market has signed. So they're just kind of waiting for
Yeah.
people to do their thing. Maybe I mean they could be waiting on a CD Lamb deal. Like that could be the whole thing. Like it's just a whole bunch of people just staring at each other like, no, you go first.
You go.
No, you go first. Because they'll get like $20 extra than the other receiver.
Mhm.
I'm the highest paid receiver now. Haha. Like that stupid thing. So
Yeah,
yeah, I mean,
that's a good point because if Justin Jefferson signs and then the Cowboys are like, well, we're gonna make CeeDee Lamb paid higher than Justin Jefferson. Like guys say they don't care about that thing, but they do. But they care about
and you also had a kind of domino fall when it comes to TJ Hawkinson when Evan Ingram
it.
signed
Oh yeah.
a ridiculously big contract with the Jacksonville Jaguars last week. So um, the pieces are falling for these deals to get done. It's just kind of weird that it's not done. I don't know if I'm just getting older or, like you said, the training camp practices have kind of fizzled
Mhm.
in excitement, but maybe it's because I miss Mankato, man. I
Yeah.
miss making the drive down 14 from Rochester and like going to training camp and having it in a college town. Even when I went to River Falls, the Kansas City Chiefs practiced there. And that was fun because there are a whole bunch of stories that, friends had told me, like, I probably can't say half of them on air, but like, going and seeing other teams' fans and meeting them and, having a few beers and that sort of thing. Like Mankato was just, I don't know. It's hard to describe. It was just an atmosphere.
It
Now
was an event.
you drive to Egan, it's in the middle of the cities. It's, controlled practice
Do you gotta
facility.
pay for tickets?
Yeah. I think you have to just sign up for them.
Oh, okay.
But then like the
The night
group
practices, I think you have
practices,
to pay
yeah, the
for,
night
right?
practices you have to pay, and the group practices, I believe you have to pay, which makes sense
It's like
because there's
$5,
another
right?
team coming in there. I think it's a little more than that. I don't know what it is.
Oh, okay.
Like if I love training camp as much as I used to, I would know because I'd be
Right.
planning a trip. But like
Right.
now it's just kind of like, it's there. I'll just check Twitter and see what happens. That could be it too. Like there's so many people there and like so many people on Twitter. Like I just
You
check
don't
it.
really need to go.
There's no need to go and hide in the bushes and claim that you're a reporter and do all that
Nobody
stuff.
does. Nobody does that.
Yeah, I mean, the most trusted source for Vikings news on Twitter.
Oh,
I'm gonna get off
slippery
that
slope we're
soapbox.
going on here.
Oh, I don't care. I really don't.
No, I don't care either at all.
What are you most looking forward to in camp though? On the field?
Uh, I just want to see the defense. I'm sure we're still not going to see too much from the defense in terms of what they really want to do because they're going to save that for the season. And we already know Kevin O'Connell's big on not showing so much in practice, especially ones that have fans in them. Because what was it last year where they had the big thing on the screen where it was like, please don't record video. It's like, okay, yeah, okay. The
They
team,
should have people just enforce it, like take them out, like
I mean, teams can
two big
send
dudes, like just like hauling some guy in a Jerry Ball jersey out, like I'm not doing anything.
if teams really cared what you were doing in practice in training camp, they could just send someone from their staff to attend because that's not frowned upon. They can just go and watch practice.
Right.
Um, so I'll just be interested to see how the defense does, how the offense does against the defense. I think they will make each other better. I would prefer probably to see. Um, I feel like Kirk Cousins in the offense is probably going to struggle at first against this defense. It sounds like they struggled a little bit in OTAs, just because it's so fast and complex and everything. So I would like to see how an offense led by Kirk Cousins is able to maybe improve against a defense like Brian Flores, which is so aggressive and unpredictable. So I think it'll be good for them. I think last year going up against Ed Donatel's defense didn't help anyone at all. Um, so I think it'll be a different experience and one that could help, both sides because the Vikings offense is talented too. So we got to see Byron Murphy going up against Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison. I'm curious to see if he
Yeah.
actually is even on the field. Lewis Seen, see if what he's going to do. Marcus Davenport, how they're going to use Josh Oliver. All these new faces are interesting too. So lots of stuff to look out for in training camp. And then, the typical injuries. Let's hope not that doesn't happen. Oh, and let's see how the offensive line does because I think they need to take some strides forward. And if they don't, then Kirk Cousins is going to be the most hit quarterback in the NFL again.
Yeah, and we'll get to that point in just a little bit here, but I think you're right. Brian Flores' defense, I think, it's going to be like a role reversal. I wrote about this at Zone Coverage last year. It was like, what does the offense look like, and where is Justin Jefferson lining up, and are they going to use Dalvin Cook as a receiver? Like there was a whole bunch of different storylines going in. Now you say, okay, Josh Metellus, something's going on there where. I think he told Darren Wolfson like his position is football player on the defense, which means you might see him rushing the passer. You might see him lined up at nickel. They're not going to dump out the entire playbook in front of everybody at training camp. Like they're going to save some things once everybody's out of the building and, Kevin O'Connell will be like, all right, now it's time to like install our game plan for week one and everything else. I think one of the things you saw on quarterback is how much that changes from the play calls all the way down to, the Buffalo left 7 heaven play probably wasn't called Buffalo left 7 heaven the entire season. You know what I mean? So, I mean, there was that. I'm also interested more in the scrimmages. I think that is where, or excuse me, let me get back to Brian Flores' defense because I wanted to mention this. I feel like every position on defense is up for grabs outside of like a few. Like Harrison Smith's not getting thrown at safety. You're not going to, I mean, Harrison Phillips probably isn't losing his job in the trenches. Other than that, I mean, it's hard for me to say this guy's job is 100% secure. Like in the secondary, especially, like who is the second safety? I mean, Cam Bynum is practicing ahead of Lewis Seen right now. Can Lewis Seen show up? Can he do something? You have Andrew Booth and a Caleb Evans. People like them. I think people really like a Caleb Evans and hope he can stay healthy, but can Mekhi Blackman maybe jump both of those guys and get a starting spot? Linebackers. I don't know. Is Brian Asamoah good? Like he's flashed, but why didn't he get on the field sooner?
Ivan Pace.
Yeah, Ivan Pace, Andre Carter, Daniil Hunter, if he shows up. Also another player whose spot is set. Like there's not a lot of, we don't know who's going to be on this defense. And I think throughout training camp, we're going to see guys emerge. We might have a couple of surprises and we might have those guys. And I think where we're really going to see that, and this is what I was getting to, the scrimmages. I believe they have Tennessee and Arizona coming into town. Both teams, I don't think are really good. Which, by the way, DeAndre Hopkins signing with the Titans.
Oh, I just forgot about that. Yep.
Yeah, you already forgot about it because it's irrelevant. But when you go and you jump
He's trying to win a
online
ring,
and
okay?
the haters and the doubters, like you start talking like that, you know your career is coming to an end. Like this is for all the haters out there and the doubters, and like I don't know, maybe the Titans should have just paid AJ Brown. I'm just saying that might have been a thing they wanted to do, but I hope DeAndre's good at run blocking because that's all they're going to do in Tennessee. Yeah, I think those scrimmages are going to go a long ways and really telling us on what this team's going to be and maybe what its strengths are. So I think it'll be an uneventful camp for the most part, but I think we'll see more than we saw last year, where we pretty much knew, hey, everybody is starting. We brought the same team back. Like there are going to be guys who are going to emerge.
Yeah, the goal is always, avoid injuries, and then I think there'll be a lot more off the field news for this camp in terms of contracts and stuff than on the field. Because the Vikings, they're in their second season of the offense, um, which is good. Because I think we saw in the Netflix documentary that Kirk Cousins didn't really have a hold on it until midway through the season. So now this year it's kind of second nature, and I think it's the first time he's had the same person calling plays for 2 straight years since like he was in Washington with I
Yeah.
want to say Sean McVay.
Because what it was, so 2018 was John DeFilippo. Then it was, I mean, he had two different guys calling plays the same
Yeah,
season.
yep,
Kevin Stefanski. Then it was Gary Kubiak, and
yep,
then it was Clint
yep,
Kubiak, and
yep,
then it was Kevin
yep,
O'Connell.
yep, yep.
So
So well, yeah. So we really don't know. Like, is that something that's been holding Kirk Cousins back? That the fact that he has to learn an entirely new offense scheme, wording for everything, is that part of the reason why he hasn't been able to get over that hump and be an elite quarterback? It might be too late for that because he's getting up there in age, but it'll be interesting to see, if he can take his game to that next level because he finally already kind of knows the offense and what's expected of him.
well, speaking of Kirk Cousins, obviously he's been in the news lately because he's been on the Netflix show Quarterback. I kind of gave my early thoughts after watching the first, I believe, 3 episodes last time we were on the air with Matthew Collar. I have finished Quarterback. I finished it up on the flight to Seattle. You finished it like a psycho in the course of 2 days.
2 day.
I can't do the binge watching thing. Like I started Ted Lasso in February and I'm like almost at the end of season 2. Like I usually just watch
Oh
sport
yeah,
or I throw on like NCAA 14 or something. Like,
I understand that. I can
everybody's
do it
got their niche.
with a docu series. I feel like it's different. I can do that because
Yeah.
like I know there's an ending point. I know it's not like multiple seasons with a
Mhm.
docu series where I can just like bang it out and be like, okay, it's done. I understand that with
And
a show though. Yeah.
and that's the cool. But everybody's like, we're not giving out spoilers. I'm like, you already know how the
We
season
know how
ended.
the season ends.
Yeah, like is Kirk gonna win? Is he gonna throw it past the sticks on 4th and 8?
Right,
Stay
right, right, right.
tuned.
Yeah.
Um, I guess what I want to know is what were your thoughts on the documentary? How did you think it was presented? Did it change your opinion of Kirk Cousins? What did you think of Quarterback?
Um, I would say I respect Kirk Cousins more for the punishment that he took every week. Uh, that was highlighted in the show in terms of getting hit, and he was clearly dealing with a rib injury that was re-aggravated over and over and over again. He was never on injury report, um, which means that he was able to practice each week fully. But just his ability to just kind of stay in there and tough it out and all the stuff that he does to take care of his body. He had those 2 chiropractors or whatever. He goes in the cold tub and all that stuff. He does the brain stuff. Say what you will about that, whether it helps or not. Um, and then just his commitment to his life off the field. I feel like that's a good lesson, and a lot of he's gotten a lot of flack of taking a full 24 hours off from football. I don't have a problem with that at all. I think in that position or any job in general, it's good to just step away for a day or two and just be able to hang out with the people that you love the most, or just enjoy some you time and enjoy stuff that you don't normally get to do during the season. And I think that's a good opportunity for him to kind of reset. He gets to hang out with his family. His wife said, she wouldn't be able to do it without him taking that full 24 hours off. And this is a different time. It's 2023. You know, players put their mental health first a lot more than they used to. I'm not saying they put it, you know, totally first, but like it's a lot more emphasized than it used to be. Like what? Calvin Ridley took a whole year off uh, because of
Well,
his mental
that
health.
was
That didn't
forced.
turn out too well.
That was
Took,
forced.
and then
He
he got
took
he got another year too.
he took 2 weeks off to try and get his mental health together, which is great. And
Right.
then he got bored and jumped on the FanDuel app, and then he had turned into a full year mental
Yeah,
break.
but I
So,
think a lot of these guys realize like you're only going to be in the league so long,
mhm.
so like don't make your life so much that you depend on football. Because I think you see a lot of guys when they get out of football, they have no idea what to do with their life. And I think someone like Kirk Cousins is just making sure that he has his priorities. Like he's still making time for his family and everything, and that's not surprising. We know Kirk Cousins is a big family guy, and it was just I I enjoyed it a lot. But I will also say it gave us a lot of insight into why he struggles and
Mhm.
what holds him back. He kind of the thing that helps him the most being, so meticulous and prepared, and he's got this perfectionist mentality. That's what holds him back too, because the slightest thing that goes wrong kind of just frustrates him, puts him in a rut. He goes and slams his helmet and sulks, and people like I don't know, like Cam Newton, Kyler Murray get a lot of criticism for when they do that. Kirk Cousins does the same thing, where he
Mhm.
will sit there, someone will try and talk to him, and he'll be like, "Yeah, whatever, great." Where you saw Patrick Mahomes he threw what, 3 interceptions in one game, and
Yeah.
he was talking on the sidelines with the coaches, trying to figure it out, rah rah rah, his teammates going up to the offensive line and everything, and like it was very clear to see why Patrick Mahomes is in the tier of quarterback that he is at the very top, and why Kirk Cousins is in the tier that he is, which is more in the middle. I think that was what I took away the most. It was like it was just made so obvious why one player has been able to be so good so quickly in his career, and why one has struggled to really just get over that hump every single season.
It is interesting with Cousins because I think you saw some of the residual effects of the Zimmer era when you
Yeah,
saw it, like the Miami game where I can't remember what O'Connell asked him, but like he's like sitting there on the field
it
screaming
was
out the
defense. It was like
defense that he
single
saw.
high safety or
Yeah,
man
he's like,
coverage.
I saw man to
Right,
man, and
right,
like
right,
Kevin
right.
O'Connell's like,
Chill
dude, you
out,
need to
dude.
calm down. Like, I'm not gonna like you wonder like what did Zimmer do there? Like honestly, this series came like 1 year too late for Kirk Cousins. Like
Yeah.
I would have loved to have seen him mic'd up
Oh,
in that
it
Lions
would have
game.
never been allowed if
Well,
Mike Zimmer was
and
there.
that's kind of the thing. It's like this show was very meticulous. Like they wanted, it's a wrestling term. They wanted to give him the rub, right? Like make him
Yeah,
look good.
yeah.
And like you never saw any of the like conflict. Like I'm sure
Well, the
there's
Bills
something.
game
Yeah.
with
I,
at the end when Cousins made that call on his own, and I think that was the most pissed off we saw Kevin O'Connell. He's
he
like,
said I was going to call timeout. He's like, you got
"Did
to give
you
me a
call
chance
that
here. Yeah.
yourself?"
Yeah. Well, and Kirk don't. And I mean, I kind of get like that game was kind of weird because
Kind of.
it was very weird. Well, and his ribs were like,
Yeah,
shattered at
yeah,
that point.
yeah.
Like
He
the
just wanted
guy
to get
could
out of
barely
there.
breathe. Yeah. And I mean, Adam Thielen's trying to be like, hey, I'm seeing this in the defense. And Kirk's like, yeah. Like he can't even like think and like hear because his ribs are
Yeah,
hurting so bad. So
yeah,
like I kind of understand it in that point, but like
yeah,
a guy like Patrick Mahomes, like when he throws, like I think there was a scene where he overthrew Jerick McKinnon in that game against the Bucks, and he like dropped some F bombs and then like, but like that second later, it was done. He's
yeah.
like, okay. next play.
Yeah.
And then, he's running around, he's high-fiving teammates. He's
Mhm.
like, all right, next play. Let's go. Like,
Yep.
we can do this. Let's score a touchdown. Let's do this. You never saw that with Kirk. And I mean, that's not a slight on him. Like, if you were expecting quarterback to like drop some breaking news on Kirk, like something that we don't know,
Right.
it wasn't there. Like this is Kirk Cousins. Like, Vikings fans already knew this. And you also saw, I think the one thing that really maybe agitated me or just kind of,
Uh-oh.
brought me back to that
Uh-oh.
place was the
Uh-oh.
4th and 8 play. Because, against Buffalo, he said it. He's like, I'm just going to throw it up to you and
Mhm.
you're going to catch it.
Mhm.
And Justin Jefferson did that. Then it was like, well, he was double covered and, the pressure was coming down. It was either throw it to TJ or, whatever. And I think it was, I was going to call him Sean O'Donnell, but that's the Wild captain. Oh my God, JT
Kevin.
O'Sullivan.
Oh,
I knew
okay.
it was something. I got my wires. I'm still in vacation
Former
mode.
Vikings quarterback.
Yeah, former Vikings quarterback JT O'Sullivan had that breakdown, and he said the play call sucked.
Yep.
First of all,
Yep.
Jefferson was double covered. Probably shouldn't have thrown it there, but you could have. And KJ Osborne was streaking wide open. But in that case, you extend the play, you get out of the pocket, and you find somebody else. But again, because the slightest thing goes wrong. So I don't really think Kirk's like a bad human. Like, I think
Oh,
he's a
no,
really
no,
good.
no.
And then, like you mentioned, taking Tuesdays off thing. I mean, Mike Florio came out and said, well, he doesn't do anything on Tuesdays. It's like, first of all, if Mike Florio was Vikings DM, like Kirk Cousins would have been traded
Case
yesterday.
Keenum would still be there.
Like, yeah, Case Keenum would still be there, and
Adrian
we'd all live
Peterson.
happily ever after, apparently. And that's fine. He's a Vikings fan too. He can have his opinions, but I mean, at the same time,
for sure.
do what you got to do, especially in like that job. Like, your ribs are basically sticking out of your side. If you need to take, I mean, it's not like he's taking Friday off. Like, he's like, I'm not doing any football thing on Friday during install. Kevin O'Connell be like, what? Like, it's like, hey,
and everyone else is pretty much off on Tuesdays too. That's the day off that most players get. So, and typically quarterbacks would just go in for meetings and stuff, and they would really be the only players that go in. But it looks like he still has. They showed plenty of times where he still had meetings with Kevin O'Connell and the rest of the offense and the quarterbacks coach and everything. So it's not like he's like really missing anything. Would being there on Tuesdays helped him adjust to the offense a little bit more? Maybe, but would it have made that much of a difference? I don't think it would.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like he's not a successful quarterback. Like,
Right.
you look at it and it's just like he for the most part, he knows what he's doing. He's very meticulous. I mean, I credit his preparation and everything. It's just in those moments where you have milliseconds to think as opposed to minutes.
Right.
Like, that's where Kirk kind of falters. So
I think Kevin O'Connell came off really well in this show too. Like,
he did.
He's like,
he did.
The perfect coach for Kirk Cousins. Like, if Kirk Cousins can't succeed with Kevin O'Connell, then he's not going to be able to succeed anywhere. Because like Kevin O'Connell, there'll be times when he's frustrated with Kirk Cousins, but he doesn't resort to screaming or berating at him. He just like expresses, like, he just asks questions like, "Why'd you do this?" All right, don't worry about it. It's over now. We'll figure it out. And the stuff where like when in the Colts game when everything was going wrong, and he's just like, "Kirk, don't get frustrated." And Kirk's like, "Oh, I'm frustrated."
I'm laughing because I think my favorite part of the documentary overall was when they were talking to Julie Cousins about that game.
She was like, "I thought I was gonna leave."
I thought about the way she said it though. Was I thought about leaving.
Well, she's like, I'll give our son a good nap. Make sure he has a good nap time.
Yeah, and then they came, and like we all know, there are a lot of people who left that game early. Judd Zolgad left that game early to go do event line, and honestly,
but can you blame it? It was 31-0.
No. I was
33-0.
I remember that game. I've told this story before, but I had to go and cover. I think it was SDSU against.
That was a Saturday
game, Holy
right?
Cross game. Yep, it was a Saturday game. So SDSU played. No, Holy Cross was in the morning. So maybe it was.
Were they in the playoffs already?
Yeah, they were in the playoffs. It was a playoff game. I don't remember who they were playing, but it was almost like, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Fever Pitch, but it's like the
Yeah.
scene where Jimmy Fallon sells his Red Sox Yankees tickets to a friend, and they go to the game and they, whatever. And he's on a date with Drew Barrymore and they're at the valet thing and like the game's on and she's like, no, he doesn't want to hear the score. And it's like, oh, they're down 9-0 anyway. Like it's not a big deal. And then he gets home and like his buddy calls him. He's like, my God, it was 9-0 in the bottom of the ninth and the Red Sox scored 10 runs. This is the greatest day of my life. And he's just like, like freaking out.
Yeah, weren't you getting like text or something?
I kept checking it, and I remember like sitting in the line to go up the elevator to the press box at Dana J. Dykow Stadium, and my co-editor Andrew's just like, "Oh yeah, they just scored. They brought it down to a two score game," and I said, "Oh, good for them. Good for them. Great." Like that's awesome. Yeah, whatever. Participation trophies. And then slowly, like you heard the press box just being like, oh my God, they're coming back. Like, oh man, Dalvin scored. Like, people are like whispering, like screaming and stuff. And I'm just like, it's a great run by Isaiah Davis there. Hey guys, like just trying to focus on the job because I was so nervous about like Viking fandom coming out, but like inside I was just like screaming. I'm like, holy shit, they're coming back. They're coming back.
Yeah, I think I told my wife whatever. I'm like, oh, the game's over. So if you help with anything around the place, just let me know and I'll help you. And then like they started coming back. I'm like, sorry, I can't help you anymore. Gotta watch this. So yeah, it was that was interesting. And
we've got problems here.
just the way Kevin O'Connell's able to like calm Kirk Cousins down as much as he can. And just go up to him and try and give him reassurance, like it's not the end of the world. Like there's so many things that we can do already. We have plenty of time left to fix things. And then he also mentioned how like sometimes it's just good to let Kirk, go do his thing and invent and fume or whatever, and just leave him alone. And then after a little bit, go check on him because sometimes you just gotta let people do that. That's his thing. Does it help him? No. But yeah, that's what's holding Kirk Cousins back, I think, from getting, because a lot of people responded to this docuseries. They're like, if you didn't like Kirk Cousins, or if you don't like Kirk Cousins after this, then I don't know how you can be a Vikings fan. It's like, well, I like him, but it didn't really show me anything different, like from his on-field performance aspect of that. It showed me why he probably wasn't doing as well on the field.
Sure.
Instead of like people are like, oh, he's so tough and he just hangs in there and he puts up all those numbers. Like, I guess, but like, it didn't really show me that he's like this. He's a leader. He lets his play do the talking. I'll say that.
He's not some superhero.
No, he's not. He's not a Brett Favre. He's not a Rodgers. He's not, in terms of leadership. He's not a Teddy Bridgewater.
No.
Okay. So like but he's never been like that.
No.
In high school, his dad gave him the scouting report and was like, "You need to work on your vocal leadership." He still does have to do that.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't, it's also okay too, because sometimes when he does that, he comes off as authentic and like he's been rehearsing this 10 times in the mirror before he does this speech. But I feel like he leads with his play. Guys know what to expect from him. And I think it'll be interesting to see how all of this progresses next season, because it'll just be another year with Kevin O'Connell and the offense and everything. So I'm very curious.
I'm going to skip one of the things I have in here, but just as a sidebar, I just wanted to bring this up super quick. The Jets are going to do Hard Knocks. That's kind of the next in reality TV show for the NFL. They're apparently restricting access like as much as they can because A, they didn't want to be on it, so they're being children about it, and B, they believe it's inhumane to show players getting out. I don't know, man. I mean, this, I guess it turned into PETA, like PIFA.
PETA.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's PETA, yes, but I mean, this is like football players.
Oh, okay.
Ethical treatment of, but I mean, they know what they're signing up
for. They
for.
play an unethical game. Like
Yes. People suit up in their asses before
the
the
guy
game
almost
to like
died
go
on the
play.
field.
Like,
The guy
it's
literally almost died on the field last year, and they were like, and
and they almost
they were gonna
continued the
play again.
game.
Yeah. So like,
It is Owen Hart falling from the rafters and Vince McMahon continuing the pay-per-view type of energy.
yeah,
Um
it'll be interesting season. It'll be like, uh, maybe they'll have to like disguise guys for people who actually want to be on the show and like disguise their voice, and they'll have to be like, "Well, we did this in practice today." Like, so like we don't know who they are, so they don't get in trouble for like talking to NFL films or whatever. And I don't know. But did you see the guy walking in? I think it was uh Clemens. I can't remember his first name. Chris Clemens, maybe, walking
yeah,
into
sounds right.
training camp, and he had no shirt on, and he had a bat, and it had barbed wire on the bat. And I'm like, oh yeah, we didn't want attention, but we're gonna walk into training camp with no shirt on and a barbed wire bat. Okay,
Guarantee that'll be the first scene that's shown in
for
Hard Knock.
sure.
I don't think we're gonna see any of Aaron Rodgers either
Maybe
in
some
Hard
stuff on the
Knocks.
field.
Yeah, just he's not gonna sit there and like talk with the yeah, we're not gonna get Aaron Rodgers being like, yeah, Green Bay, I mean, I liked it, but it was
No,
just
you know
time or
what?
whatever.
No. He loves this.
You think he'll sit down and like
He
just get in front of the
loves
camera?
he loves the attention. Come on. As soon as he
But will the Jets let him? That's the thing. Will the
yeah, once
Jets
he
let him get
that's
in
true.
front of the
That's true.
camera?
Well, but they'll have control of like what goes out and everything.
I suppose.
They can have editing control because I learned this yesterday. We already knew that Aaron Rodgers is like a 9/11 truther or whatever.
Hmm.
That he thinks it was an inside job. Which is quite interesting because Robert Saleh, um, he decided to become an NFL coach after his brother was in one of the towers in 9/11. I think he was a firefighter or something else, but he was in one of the buildings. So that's a interesting little
Well,
part of that team. And
you know, yeah. Are you gonna get to this? Because I'm thinking of something else.
the the Jets
The
owner,
COVID vaccine.
yeah, the Jets owner
Yep.
is a Johnson and Johnson heir, and now Aaron Rodgers is getting a paycheck from them after yeah.
And so, when they flew out to California to talk to him, like I was just envisioning, Aaron Rodgers, like Cody
They meet him in a
Rhodes, being
cave,
like, "So, what do you guys want to talk about?" Hmm.
silent
Anyway,
retreat.
yeah,
No, it'll be.
yeah,
I don't know. NFL Films always does a good job. They know. I feel like this won't be the first time where they've been somewhere where they're restricted or whatever. They do a good job of getting stuff where it doesn't feel invasive. Like we didn't even know that the Vikings were recording or the Netflix was recording a whole show
yeah.
that year, and the Chiefs did it. And guess what?
They
They
won
won
the
the
Super
Super
Bowl.
Bowl.
They won the Super Bowl.
I guess it wasn't that invasive or restrictive or whatever.
There's probably some Eagles
Yeah.
fans who think there's a conspiracy there with that last call, which was a penalty, under NFL rules. So grab the jersey. And he also like watching it again. Like I can't remember the player's name, but like he did like kind of grab him like that
Right.
after. So I mean, as a
Gotta
call,
call it.
like
Gotta call it.
I mean, if it goes the other way, Chiefs fans are like, "Why did you call that?"
Yeah,
Like,
it sucks,
yeah.
but he had to call it.
Let's move on to our next topic here. Jerseys. I love a good jersey drop. And the Vikings had one of their own as they dropped their new classic jerseys this week. If Adam would throw it on the screen for me, I'll describe
Oh
it to
yeah.
the YouTube audience as well. But the jerseys are paying homage to the teams of the 1960s and 1970s. They have white numbers with gold trim and white pants. Regular numbers. They don't have that new Vikings font. And then they also have the vintage Viking horn on the helmet. They're set to make their debut in week 1 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What do you think of the new Vikings uniforms, Adam?
I like them.
Yeah.
I like that they're not like directly tied to a specific season. It's more of just like a blend of all of them, and kind of mixed in with their modern uniform because the side Like the side stripes are kind of similar to the way that they are now. Obviously, they're a little different. But no, I like them. I like the deeper shade of purple. I like the yellow outline. It's if you wanted to think so, it's kind of a little mixture of the '90s too, because the '90s had
Yep.
the yellow outline of the numbers as well. I'm so curious why they're not doing. They have never done anything with like the '90s or the 2000s. Maybe that's coming in the future, but
Yeah,
I like them. I like the
the
gray face
one
masks and stuff.
I
Yeah,
want to see is the white uniforms. And they
yeah,
kind of did this in the 70s too, but they got the purple and yellow
hmm
striping on the
hmm
shoulders. I think those are my favorite Vikings jerseys, but like
right.
these are very good. I did like a lot of people like those late 2000s throwbacks that they wore.
The Favre ones.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't. So people call them the Favre ones. Technically, they're the purple people. I mean, people just remember
Yeah,
Favre wearing it. But
yeah.
like for
Ponder
me,
Christian Ponder wore it too.
yeah,
Not the Ponder one.
the ponder ones. Like for me, those throwbacks don't do much because I think they're too similar to the uniforms they have now. Like a lot
Right.
of people,
Yeah.
there's a lot of people out there that don't like the current Viking uniforms. And I
Mhm.
would say take a look at some of the other
Yeah.
uniforms that Nike has come out with. Like, you want to have the Falcons uniforms where it's
Mhm.
like, we did a red and black gradient look all the
The Ca
way down. It's
the
like, well, that
Cardinals
looks
ones
like
they just
crap.
did to make sure you know their name is right across their chest.
Yeah, like the Jets ones are bad. Like, I don't think any of the ones that they have right now are really great. And I mean, like the Vikings ones, it has kind of that retro element to it. It's got a little bit of a newer font in the numbers, which I don't think is like overbearing by any means.
No.
And then just kind of the word mark is a little different too. I don't think they're all that. I mean, they're not. I think the worst ones ever were the old Browns ones, where they had Cleveland across the front and they had like Browns down the pant leg, and
Mhm.
like they just did way too much before they changed back to their
The
original ones.
Manziel era ones.
Yeah. I do like the idea of teams doing this as an alternate. Like, I think like there are some teams that should just go back to what they like. The Falcons should go back to the
Mhm.
red helmets, the black and gray look, and I think they will in a couple
Ooh,
years. I
I
think
like
that's coming.
the black ones, like the Dion era ones, like
That's what I'm thinking.
the
Yep.
black logo, yeah.
Yep. Those era helmets and uniform combo, awesome. You also have Tampa Bay. They dropped the creamsicle
Mhm.
jerseys. They're going to wear those a couple times this year, I believe. The Seahawks dropped their
Those are
Kingdom
nice.
era uniforms, which are sweet. Tennessee might be dropping the Oilers jersey soon. Well,
So weird.
and it's also weird that
We took your
like
team, but we're gonna wear your old uniform too.
insult to injury. Yeah. Like, and we're going to wear them against
People are
Houston.
like, they were the Tennessee Oilers for like a year.
Yeah,
It's like,
they took the
okay.
history with them. Like
Yeah.
that's the good thing. Like most teams don't do that. Like
I said
so the Stars took the North Stars history
right.
with them. That's why the Wild are called the Wild, which
The
is kind of
Lakers.
interesting because if you flip the W upside down, that's exactly what that team is. But like, the Sonics. Seattle still has the Sonics, and they're going to get an expansion team, and they're going to have that back again. Like, the Pelicans took the Hornets with them for a couple of years, and then they're like, let's do our own thing. And it's
We
like,
got
you
like
can
the
have it back.
Lakers and the Jazz,
Yeah.
where there's no lakes in LA. Uh, there's maybe some jazz in Utah, but probably not.
They got Spotify over there. They can throw on a little
Well,
Spotify on Apple
I
Music.
wrote with the Titans thing. I wrote on or I posted on Twitter or whatever. Like this would be like if the Ravens were like, we're coming out with throwback Browns uniforms, where it's like, uh,
But that team exists
I
too.
know they exist, but like that's
Yeah.
what it seems to me like. Where it's like you took the team, you moved them, and you changed the name, and now you're like, let's honor the team that we stole. It's just I don't know. It's weird. What
Well,
other teams are gone? What the I'm trying to think NFL teams that are gone. I think like the Browns were really the only ones that went away for a little bit.
and then came back.
Yeah. Otherwise, they've added teams.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the Raiders have moved a bunch, like L.A., Oakland,
But
and
they're
the
still the Raiders.
and the Rams and St. Louis and even the Cardinals. The Cardinals were in St. Louis for a while. way back in the day.
Yeah, you talk about the Rams. That's another team that needs a uniform overhaul. Great
Yeah,
helmets, though. I love their
yeah,
new helmets, but
yeah,
like the rest of the jerseys, kind of rough. What do you think about teams going back to throwback uniforms? You like it or
yeah, yeah. Especially the teams going in the '90s. Seahawks.
yeah?
Those are great.
The Eagles are
Kirk,
dropping the Philly Green or Kelly
yep.
Greens too, though. That's going to be awesome.
And I think the Broncos are coming out with they're coming out with an alternate uniform, but it's supposed to be like a white helmet. I want to say it has the old '90s like D logo on it. Which is like just like a mix. I don't know if you saw the Colts alternate they introduced today,
That looks
which
like a. It looks like a Canadian tuxedo.
oh the
The
heathered
heathered look. I mean,
it
that's a
does
cool
look cool.
idea, but yeah, like they were showing it, and I'm like, that's like something Jared Allen would wear.
Yeah,
Like
sometimes the uniform makers are like, it's the first to be like this or that, and it's like, oh, there's a reason for that.
we
Uh,
Jurassic Park, right? Just because you can do it doesn't mean you should
right,
or
right.
whatever.
I do like the black Colts helmet. I do like that. Um, I feel like they should have just gone just wear a black uniform. Why do you need to have a blue uniform and a black helmet? Kind of like what are the Lions doing? They're doing. Oh, they have
They
that
have a
weird blue
black
helmet.
helmet, and I think they're wearing it with their gray uniforms.
No, they have that weird blue helmet.
Is
It's
that?
not even. It's not black. It's blue.
Oh, it's
It's
blue.
like royal blue
Oh
with
yeah.
their old logo. Yeah, and they're wearing it
Hmm.
with gray. Which why wouldn't you wear that with your blue uniform? I don't know, but yeah, like the the point of this, the Vikings throwbacks are good. Um, we just want those away late '90s, early 2000s ones. That's all we need. That's all we really see.
Is that the other change you would make? Is just like that white one?
Yeah, that's the only one I think people want to see. I'm curious to see because like teams have been coming out with all white uniforms too. Like the Bengals did. Who's the team that just came out with?
Browns.
Oh yeah,
That's got a bowling green vibe
it
to it.
does. Their whole uniform combo has that. And then there was another team that went all white too. I can't remember. And then there's rumors that the Bills' red helmets are coming back too.
Yep.
So there's lots of stuff out there right now, which I like because the NFL is silly and they're trying to say like you can only have one helmet because of concussions and stuff, and it's like this is gonna help prevent concussions by only having one helmet, not the guys killing each other on the field. So yeah, but yeah, it's good. More jerseys, more profits, more fun. Yeah, I like it
The the one change that I would make is add a white helmet.
for the Vikings.
Yeah. I think, for
What,
that all white, white helmet with like what I would do is
what
just
color
kind of
horn?
like the outline of the horn in purple
Okay.
and like do it that way. Like I think that would look cool. Maybe a chrome face mask, but like you could
Mm.
also do like maybe that's overdoing it. Maybe you do like a
I like
purple
white.
face mask
I don't know.
or
I like the white face mask
yeah. Or white face mask wouldn't be bad either. Like just something like that would be cool. I know a lot of people want black jerseys
I was gonna
too.
say, why do you like that but not black?
Because okay, I'm wearing black Vikings
Right.
merchandise as we speak. But um I don't know. I guess I think it would look cool. I just think, purple and black's like Ravens colors.
Yeah.
Like every team's like, I'm gonna add black to our color scheme.
There's
Well,
only so many colors that a team can have. So like,
there's no black and pink ones. Walking
right?
out
Not
here like Brett the Hitman Hart.
not yet. They haven't. The NFL hasn't done that yet. Well, like, I feel like I'm surprised they didn't do it during the Mike Zimmer era because that's like all Mike Zimmer wore was
Yeah.
black. Like towards the end of his tenure, every week was just
He
maybe
probably
because
shut it down.
he was just dressing for a funeral every week. Just
He knew what was coming.
yeah, just
So he just dressed it all black.
yeah, yeah.
All right. Our last topic of the day is the
Most
99 club
important.
in Madden. Yes, very important. Justin Jefferson has a 99 overall rating in Madden 24. Electronic Arts dropped their wide receiver ratings for the game earlier this week. Jefferson was the first member to be unveiled in the 99 Club. As of right now, Justin Jefferson, Aaron Donald, and Zach Martin are the three players
So
in the
random.
99. Yeah. What do you think about Jefferson being in the 99 Club? Is it a big deal, or is it just kind of...
For his generation, it is. I don't know if you saw the tweet afterwards where he was just like pretty much paraphrasing, "This is super fucking cool that
Yeah.
I've got a 99 in Madden." Like,
Did you
I
see
don't.
him bury the Packer fan too?
Yeah, yeah. He was like, "Oh, show your stats or whatever from week 17." He's like, "Show yours."
Yeah.
Uh,
What's
but
your
yeah,
rating?
yeah.
Like what would you rate a Packer fan? Like,
Negative.
I think,
In the
well,
negatives.
no, I mean, I would give a packet, like if we were creating a Packer fan, just like, fan ratings, beer chugging 99, um,
Bratwurst eating,
disgusting. Yeah. Bratwurst
consuming,
hoarding 91. Um, let's see. I'm trying not to get illegal. um,
personal hygiene.
but 0. A
Oh no.
fight rating like a
Yeah.
13.
Alcohol
Like
tolerance.
it's one of those things. It's like a dynamic rating. Like when they're sober, it's probably like a 69 or something, and then it just drops like with more beers they drink.
Well, you saw the rating for the Packers player who has a higher ceiling than Justin Jefferson, right?
Right. Yeah.
77 in
Sounds about
Madden.
right.
Yeah.
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 What was Justin Jefferson rated in year 2?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, by the way, it only took Justin Jefferson, what? This is his 4th year, and he's already
Mm-hmm.
99. And,
Yeah.
and here's some trivia for you. Who are the other 3 Vikings to earn a 99 in Madden?
Randy Moss.
He did, but he was not on the Vikings.
Oh.
It happened when he was with the Raiders and then with the Patriots. The
Yeah.
Raiders the first year before everyone knew he wasn't good.
Did
So,
Dante have a 99 rating?
nope.
Because I know he was on the cover one year. 99. Who would be that dominant? I'm thinking of like early years because like there were a ton of Vikings, or there were just a ton of players like 90 ratings. And then
Yeah.
like one year Madden came in, they're like, all right, we got to like differentiate these dudes because like,
I'll
Michael
say
Bennett can't be a 93,
two offensive players and 1 defensive player. I feel like 2 of them are very obvious.
Chris Carter.
No.
Matt,
One of
Matt
them
Bird.
had an MVP season.
Oh, Adrian Peterson.
Yeah. One of
And
them
then,
almost broke the single season sack record.
oh, Jared Allen was a 99?
Yeah, yeah.
Really? Okay.
And I'll give
Like
you that.
like I said, I was going back. I guess Madden ratings weren't really a thing in
No,
the mid
man, it was
90s.
right
They were
around
just
like
on the game. So
99,
like,
2000s when I think they first started.
yeah, because I remember that was the first Madden I bought. The first Madden I played was Madden. I'm gonna date myself here, but like Madden 93 was the first Madden I played, and like they didn't have ratings at all. You just picked like pixelated players, and like they had
I think
numbered.
94 was the first one I played.
Yeah, and then 99 was, I think Barry Sanders was on the cover.
Great
And I
graphics.
got that, and like it was like the first franchise mode, like PlayStation 1. And like you're just like, whoa, this is cool. And then PS2 came out, and you're like,
Remember, like every
holy
year,
shit.
every year it'd be like, look at those graphics.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
have they have Puma on the side of their jersey.
Well, and that's what's crazy about like the college football revamped thing. Like you play it the first time you throw it on, you're just like, oh man, this is bad. And then you play it some more. And especially since they went in and like put the new uniforms in, like the graphics on that thing are like super good. But that's a game that just holds up.
The other one, I'll just give it to you because you're probably not going to get it, is Randall McDaniel.
Yeah, that's a 99 player.
And Madden 99, I want to say. So
Yeah.
they've had 3, and then Randy Moss got it, but twice. But it was with the Raiders. He never got it when he was with the Vikings.
Which is kind of bonkers, especially after that, what was it, 03 season where he like just broke every record imaginable.
Yeah.
Randy ratio, baby.
So yeah.
To me, so the players, like you said, this is a big deal because they have adjusters come to practice in games and like evaluate, and the players will like go over and they'll talk to
Oh,
the
they care.
adjusters and be like, they really care. And I mean, like they want their competitors, they want to have like better speed or all that stuff. For me, a gamer, I kind of care like a little bit. Like I can't play an unauthentic game. Like that's one of my biggest weaknesses. Like I'm one of those people who can't go like 8 years down the road in a franchise mode because it's like all creative players. But like, except for NCAA football, where you recruit the play, like you feel like they're yours, like they're your finds or whatever. Sounds ridiculous, right? But it's like I got a quarterback right now that's a 99, and I'm
Right
like,
now.
yeah, I discovered him. I discovered his speed. He was a gem, like that sort of thing. Like that's the cool part. What I care about is fixing franchise mode because honestly, like I don't give a shit about Madden Ultimate Team. I don't want to
No,
go
yeah.
online and drop like hundreds of dollars to get the super rare, super universal,
Yeah, what are those?
unlimited
Is that
Justin
like
Jefferson
are those
card.
cards? Are those like NFTs? What is it?
They're just so like in Madden Ultimate Team,
They're like
you
virtual
get
trading
packs.
cards?
Yeah, well, I don't even know if you can trade them. I've never liked different, but you get these cards and then they're part of your team. So you play them and then you play them in a game. So you have like teams. So like you'll get like a card, and somebody probably could correct me on this, but you get like a card that's like Arizona Cardinals 1991 uniform, and you can only use it like 3 times. And then like there's different tiers of cards. So like you get like in MLB The Show, you would get like a Byron Buxton bronze card, and his ratings would be like an 80. But then you could get like a diamond card where his ratings are like a 90, and then you play them all on the field, and that's basically what it is.
Oh.
So, and I mean, I think you can like sell them, you can trade them, whatever. But what EA does is they do microtransactions. So, like, you can earn them like naturally during the game, but your team's going to suck because some guy's going to have it, or some kid's going to have his mom's credit card, and they're just going to charge the shit out of it to get like all the packs and everything. And they're just going to whoop your ass online. Like, I honestly, I hate playing online. I don't know if it's because I suck at video games. Like, I'm not afraid to admit it. I'm not the best gamer, but I also like doing the franchise mode and being like, hey, I want to get the Vikings to a Super Bowl. I want to do all the off-season stuff and everything else. So fix franchise mode. Don't have Justin Herbert out in the free agent pool. Don't have, don't have Patrick Mahomes hit the free agent pool, for God's sake. Not that I've ever seen that, but I mean, I wouldn't put it past EA. Oh yeah, Patrick Mahomes got traded for a 4th-round pick. Oh great, that's good. Don't have me trade. Don't have me be able to trade Dalvin Cook for a 1st-round pick. Like I got a top 10 pick for Dalvin Cook in a Madden franchise. That shit doesn't happen. I'm sure, like, if you ask running backs around the league right now, they would love for that to happen. But
yeah, I haven't played. I can't remember the last time I played Madden. I think it was for PS3.
Yeah, you're not missing much.
That's what I hear.
Why isn't Isaiah Pacheco at 99? Pacheco,
Right.
oh, he's so good. Oh, we got to pay him. See you later, bud.
Before we get out of here, do you feel bad for the running backs?
I do. I actually do in some regard. Like some cases are different than others. Like Dalvin Cook. You know, you can point at things and be like, yeah, I mean, this is why they're not paying you. A guy like Saquon Barkley absolutely should get paid, because you know why? The quarterback that just got paid $40 million is absolute horseshit without Saquon Barkley. And Donatel's defense, like, I mean, Austin, it is weird because running backs are at their peak during their rookie contract, and then they wear down as teams go on. That's why you're seeing teams, I mean, Kevin O'Connell didn't even mention Dwayne McBride by name during OTAs. No. He's like, we got Alexander Madison, we got Ty Taylor, Kanae's doing some stuff, and the rookie. Like Kevin O'Connell like mentions the freaking lunch lady during press. He literally goes up to the podium. He's like, All right, great day today. I just want to come out here and thank Candace, the lunch lady. She had some phenomenal sloppy joes over in the cafeteria. Guys that really make training camp go. We got Larry in the parking lot. We couldn't be here without him because we couldn't get in the parking lot. We got Joe, the janitor, cleaning the toilets for us. There's nothing worse than sitting down and not having any toilet paper in the stalls. And, we're just out here, and it's great to be back at camp. Any questions? So I do feel bad for the running backs. I feel like they should be paid a little more, but I've said this before. I think you're going to see people refuse to play running back. Like even like these gadget plays, like, hey, we're going to use you in the backfield, and be like, I'm not doing that because then you'll consider me a running back.
Yeah, it's
Like
weird.
It's going to get ugly.
It's weird because it's like it is an important part of every offense. Like, but it's very replaceable. I heard the argument today or yesterday that the difference between your starting running back and the kid coming out of college who was a 7th round pick isn't that enough. Like, there isn't enough difference for you to justify paying that starting running back $10 to $15 million a year. Like, you can just make that sacrifice for the money and go back to maybe you don't get as much production, but you're still going to be fine because you're going to have your money invested in your quarterback and your offensive line and your receivers. It's just hard because I don't know. I think each running back is their own individual case, and I think they're all being lumped together. And I don't think that's fair to any of them because you look at someone like Christian McCaffrey, it's very different. He's in a system where they utilize running backs a lot. They need his skill set to do well. You look at the Titans; they need Derrick Henry to succeed. Like with the Giants, I think they're trying to get away from being a running offense. I think the Raiders are trying to get away from being a running offense. So they're like, why are we going to invest so much money in a running back when we don't even really want to give him the ball as much? We want to kind of look at the Vikings using Dalvin Cook last year. He didn't get the ball as much as he used to in the past. That's what they wanted. And then they're like, why are we going to pay this guy when we could just give the ball to Madison or Ty Chandler and save way more money? Um, it's not really a knock on these guys' skill sets, not a knock on Dalvin Cook or anything, but like guys coming out of college they're just good. Like especially at running back. Like they running back is the position that you can plug and play immediately the most, really, compared to any other position in the NFL, other than maybe what? Kicker or punter. And those guys don't get paid. But I did put out that graphic that Des Bryant stole. Well, he didn't steal it. I won't blame him. The aggregator stole it first, like ML football and JPA and all that fucking bullshit. Um, and then Des Bryant took it, and now the tweet has 23 million views. So that's great. It's wonderful. But I wrote that the average salary for a kicker next year is higher than it is for a running back next year, which is insane. And then people are like, "Well, there's so many running backs, and there's only like 32 kickers." And I'm like, "Okay, that's fine." And then I shared with them that the average salary for a running back is lower than tight ends, centers, guards, and safeties. You're gonna tell me that tight ends and safeties should be paid more than running backs? I don't agree with that. I don't have a problem with these guys getting paid, but I understand why they're not. I think that's my whole view on the thing. Like, teams are just moving away. They're figuring out a way to succeed without having a high paid running back. Um, it's you have essential positions like quarterback, receiver, left tackle, pass rusher. Those are the positions you're going to get paid. Otherwise, good luck. And it sucks if you're a running back in the league. It sucks if you're a running back coming up. But I I don't know because what Bijan Robinson is the highest paid running back next year, and he hasn't even played it down yet. Um,
Yeah.
so I don't know. It's not how it used to be. Teams don't need a 3 down running back. They don't need a bell cow back there. There's no more Adrian Petersons. It's gone. And I've heard people be like, "Well, it'll come back eventually." And I'm like, I don't know if it will. Because if teams have figured out one way to do it, why are they going to go back? But I would agree with you that like they need to figure something out. Like when they first come in the league, like I feel like the rookie wage scale should be a little bit higher for running backs coming into the league than it should be for other positions because, like you said, they come in and they play in their prime, and there's no other position in the league like that where you
Yeah.
come in your first 4 years is the best you can be, and after that, then teams don't want anything to do with you.
And I do wonder if that happens, do running backs slide down the draft?
For sure.
So like if there's an amplifier, so like let's say there's a 10% amplifier on running backs.
Right.
Like if you take a running back, you have to pay them 10% more than any other pick. Teams are gonna be like, well, screw that. Like we're gonna take like a left tackle or a wide receiver,
Yeah.
or something that's more important. It's super weird.
I don't know,
It
but
is.
what if there is a running back who is like an Adrian Peterson or who is like a
Oh,
Derrick
I
Henry
said it
who's
last year. I'm like, I said if B. John Robinson was available and the Vikings made that pick
right,
at 2022 or
23,
was it 23? Yeah.
23.
If he was available at 23, I'd said take him.
Right.
Like honestly, you're not paying him that much more than if you went and signed, Alexander Madison's making what 3.5 million this year, and he's
Less
just a
than that, I
guy.
think. Yeah.
He's just a guy who's gonna lead the NFL in rushing, apparently. But we'll see how that ends up.
Don't be a running back, kids. That's the point of the whole thing. Don't grow
Mamas,
up
don't
to
let your babies
be
grow up
running
to be
back.
running backs, as Cecil Lammy says.
And maybe it'll change because, like, I don't know, everything comes full circle in sports and football. So maybe somebody will be, this innovative head coach who just all he does is run the ball.
Mike Zimmer's making a comeback.
Yeah.
He's going to coach offense now. That is all the time we have, though, for the Viking Age podcast today. It's the official podcast of the VikingAge.com. We do this every Monday and Thursday at 6:15 p.m. Central Time, right here on the Viking Age YouTube channel. But if you miss us, we are in podcast form the very next day. But like, comment, share, and subscribe so you never miss a new episode. For Adam Patrick, I'm Chris Schad, and we'll talk to you next time on the Viking Age podcast.